Alright, so we're going to do a little tire temp test here. I've been driving consistently well above 65 miles an hour for quite some time now on the highway. My temperature gauge outside's been sort of bouncing up and back between about 104 and 105 outside. So we're going to pull over here and check our tire temps and see what it looks like. Alright, so we pulled over here to check the surface temperature. Surface temperature showing 128. Check our tire temp here. Tire temp showing about 140. About 146. Alright, so right now we don't have anything in the bed. We're going to check it with the camera. Alright, so we got the camper on now. It's a little cooler outside. Still not a cool day by any means. Its temperature's been bouncing up and back around 95, 96 degrees. I've been driving consistently over 65 miles an hour. And when I say that, with the bigger tires, I'm actually going about 10% faster than what the speedometer reads. So at 65, I'm actually doing about 71, 72. If I was reading 70, I'd be going about 77, 78. So we're going to get pulled over here and check the temperature difference between the surface temperature of the highway and the temperature of the tires. So checking our surface temperature here, it's about 110. We're going to come over here and check our tire, 110. And we're like 135. So about a 25 degree difference in surface temp to tire temp. Empty, we saw about a 15, 16 degree difference in tire temp. Not drastically different. And just to show here, we are loaded. And we're going to get back underway. Alright, so I wanted to do a quick video of my final setup on the suspension of my 2021 Ram 2500, carrying the Camplite CLTC11 camper. Now keep in mind, CLTC is a all aluminum camper, so even though it's an 11-foot camper, it's all aluminum, it's only 3,500 pounds, unlike a Lance that size, which would be around 5,000 pounds. So I only have experience using that camper with this setup. I probably would not run this kind of a truck running a 11-foot Lance. I'd probably run a dually. But for the lightweight, all aluminum Camplite campers, this was fantastic. The handling and drive was better than most motorhomes I've owned. Super stable, really easy to handle on the highways, just a really nice ride all around. So what I ended up with is running the Firestone red heavy-duty airbags. When I upgraded the airbags, I found that the factory shocks couldn't dampen the rebound well enough. So I had to upgrade the shocks to the Icon adjustables. So I contacted Icon when I ordered these and had them valved for a 4,000 pound load. So I run them in full soft when the camper's off and full stiff when the camper's on. And then on the rear sway bar, this is the factory sway bar on now. I'm converting it back, so I'm gonna be turning this car back in off a lease. But to give you an idea, the difference between the factory and the aftermarket Hellwig made a big difference. So it really helped with the lean of the camper. When you're going in and out of driveways, that kind of transitional rocking and that kind of stuff. But with this setup, I mean, the truck was super stable. Cruised down the freeway at 75, no problem. Really confident in the handling characteristics of the truck. If you want to go with a less expensive way of setting up a similar truck for a similar camper, the Timbrins are what I initially had put on this truck when I started. They don't offer the best ride quality, but they definitely handle the load and give you a nice stable ride. So if you don't want to invest the time and the money into doing the full setup with the airbags and the upgraded shocks and all that kind of stuff, the Timbrins allowed the truck to sit in a position where you're in the stiffer part of the stroke of the shock. I think the factory shocks say that they're 20% stiffer in the bottom part of the range. So just putting on the Timberins can get you down the road no problem. I still run the front boosters on the front because I haven't made any other additional modifications to the front suspension. I don't have to run them. The truck drives actually really nice without them, but just for a little more stability and control, I usually put those on when I put the camper on. So that's the final setup here. And like I said, I'm breaking this down, taking these parts off because I'm going to be turning this 2021 back in off a lease and going to be transferring the parts to a 2022. All right, very good.